the season. Is it time that everybody just stops looking at Eli Manning and doubting what he can do?
I think it is time. I really do. Based on what I've seen this year, I mean, the guy's coming off of 25 interceptions. He led the league last year. It was very Brett Favre-like the way he quarterbacked last season with the interceptions. But I will tell you that this year he's been exceptional. He's been elite. And to enter this season on the Michael Kay Show on ESPN New York 1050, he was talking about how he deserved to be mentioned in the same breath as Tom Brady. What does he do? Despite the plethora of injuries that the Giants incurred, okay, this guy goes out there and he plays lights out. He has been carrying the New York, him and JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul, they have carried the New York Giants, and no matter who he go, he's beating. I mean, he went toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers. He beat Tom Brady. He went in the Big D last night and beat Tony Romo. Excuse me, I'm done doubting Eli Manning. I might not like his body language sometime or whatever the case may be, but you tell me 5 quarterbacks in this game that are definitively better than him. I don't think you can do it. It's time that we show this kid the respect he deserves.
And when you look at his track record through the same amount of games as his brother, they're almost equal in regular season wins. He's got more playoff wins, and he's already won a Super Bowl. And I think what happens with him is he's so understated that people think that maybe he's not in that category. What I really like is the fact that he had a problem last year with the interceptions, and he's fixed that problem. And you got to give him a lot of credit. And his supporting staff, he's making them all look better, and nobody would have gone in the season and said he's got the elite group of playmakers.
The only other thing that I want to add is this. As you remember, Archie Manning, the patriarch of the NFL to some degree, okay, you know, forcing the draft day trade. Eli Manning, drafted by the Chargers, traded to the New York Giants in favor of Phillip Rivers. There have been plenty of times in the past where we sat there and said, you know what, Phillip Rivers is looking a little better than Eli. We ain't saying that now. It's not possible. Phillip Rivers still waiting for his first Super Bowl championship. Eli already has one, and this season, like you said, recovering from the prone interceptions rather that he had last year. Yeah. To come back this year to play the way that he's played, there's nothing to say.
And his Super Bowl championship was against one of the, the undefeated team, the other undefeated team that we talked about.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the greatest championships that you could argue of all time.
First of all, I love how Stephen A. Smith manages to take a gratuitous shot at Brett Favre to start his answer on Eli Manning. You have no ammo left today, so you still got to take a shot from afar.
I have no ammo
Brett
when
Favre.
it comes to Tebow.
Okay.
Brett Favre, I got ammo all day, every day, and I will never lose ammo on Brett Favre. Please, we don't even have 2 hours. Ain't enough for me to get in that man. Now go ahead.
Quarterback at hand.
Go ahead.
How many times on your radio show in New York City have you bashed Eli Manning?
I haven't. No. What I've said is people will call up and call him stuff like Sheila and stuff like that. I have never disrespected Eli.
Never.
Ever.
Have you ever doubted Eli?
I have doubted him.
Yes.
I've never disrespected him. Ever.
Okay. He is having, by far, his best season. I have no quarrel with anything he's done all year in the fourth quarter. But it's like the Tebow question. Are you sold? Are you going to go completely over the edge and say, never again will I criticize Eli Manning?
No, I won't say that.
I won't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because we're there with his brother Peyton. Like, he seems to be above any of that.
I can't put him at the top echelon, in the top 3 or 4.
Sure.
But he did say earlier this year, I'm elite. I belong in that same. And he's playing at an elite level right now. But again, we pointed out earlier in the show, he throws one that could have been a pick 6 early last night, and he threw a pick 6 against Green Bay that put them in a hole out of which they could not dig last week, right? So there's still that little self-destruct button in there somewhere. And again, I can't ask him to be perfect, but he will try things on a weekly basis that other quarterbacks can't even get away with trying. He will do some Brett Favre things.
The only thing that I will say, I will say to that is that the elite quarterbacks have walked off the field with their heads down because they've made mistakes. But we still consider them elite. Why? Because they're champions. I think we have forgotten along the way of criticizing Eli Manning from time to time. The man is a Super Bowl champion. He does have a ring, too. Sometimes we need to be reminded.
Even though he threw a potential interception that would have ended the Super Bowl.
Tony Romo does that every week. You still praise him.
He didn't do it last week.
I understand that.
And you're really not allowed to talk about almost interceptions.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's too many of them. You can go both ways.
Tebow doesn't throw almost interceptions.
Excuse me?
No, he threw one yesterday.
He threw one. His receiver fell on his face.
Got 3 turnovers.
Well, he did. There's always something.
Well, I mean, he did. Matt Wilson's face down when the
2 weeks ago you were saying he doesn't turn over the ball. He's got 3 in the last 2 games. I'm just saying.
All right.
He had one bad one yesterday.
Next
strip sack.
Next topic.